Welcome everyone, buongiorno! Right, what are we doing today? Basically, we are going to be hydro dipping a coffee machine, or parts of the coffee machine, to make it look like wood. I'll show you the wood in a minute, but yeah, it's the wood. But there's two coffee machines, my mistake, there's two. These are like the outer casings which we need to do in a wood. Now, I haven't dipped in about 6 months, and this is the last job that I'm going to be doing. But I've got to replicate the wood, and the wood that I was going to do, they don't have the wood anymore, so now I'm going to have to get a different wood, and I've ordered a different wood, but I don't know how the different wood's going to be. But we smile and we crack on. We don't worry about things. But anyway, so what I've done, these are actually stainless steel. And stainless doesn't like paint, but we have said to the customer, it is what it is, do not be coming back to me, because I don't want to know. But, like I said, we smile, we crack on. So I have prepped up the stainless steel the best that I can. I put an adhesion promoter on there. I'm now priming it. The other parts, which I'm going to show you, do not need priming. They're plastic. I literally just prep them up, put an adhesion promoter on them, and then I can paint all said things at the same time. Once I've painted the said thing, this is how hydro dipping works. Once I've painted said things, I then dip them, and then lacquer them, and then airbrush them, and but that is that. Let me take you up to the dipping station. Right, so what we have got is, this is what we need to replicate. This is like a wooden handle. We have got like all these plastic bits, an abundance of bits like that. We've got 4 of these which are like handles, but we need to replicate that, and that is going to be the problem. This is the dipping. This is the dipping station. Like I said, tank hasn't been used in about 6 months, so I've had to empty a load of water, put fresh water in it. Now it's heating up and it is filtering, because it is, if you know about dipping, it's absolutely disgusting. So we've got them bits prepped. Like I said, all these bits, they're plastic, like so. And when they're done, we'll then find out the colour to paint them in, and then we will do a test piece and dip them in theory. Right, the film has arrived. But like I said, I've never used this film before. We've got that, and all these bits. I've done my 2 test dips, because normally when I do wood, I do it on white. On the description it said a pale yellow. Pale yellow. We're trying to get this effect, so we will see basically. But let's have a look at this film. So when away in the morning, mate, I can't even open the thing. First impressions, it's good it's not silverback film. I hate silverback film. This is the closest looking wood that I could find. Let me cut a bit off. I mean, to you, you're like, oh, that's well off. But wait till you see the magic. See if you can see a difference. Obviously, it's going to look slightly different when it's actually dipped. So that is it on white, and that is it on yellow. It does make a difference. So what you have is white, and then you have yellow. See the difference in that? Planning on doing is dipping it multiple times. I've got to look there. I keep looking there, but it's there. Dipping it multiple times. It builds up the effect, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. But I might go with the yellow, because when you look here, see it's got like lighter shades. See, that is that way. See, it's got them light shades. If we put like 2 layers of film on there, it will darken it down a bit, but it will keep that light shade. I think that's what we're going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off some of the film enough to do the speed shapes. We dip both colours, and then I can work out what colour's best. I can work out how many times to dip it to get that desired effect of the handle. You're over there, not there. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. So this is my nice big chunk. Right, what you want to determine is what side's the sticky side. Normally it's the glossy side. So little fingers, stick it on, glossy side to sticky side. That side goes down. Is get some thin tape and then tape up the edges. Once you've taped up the edges, you've got something like that, and then what you want to do is put little relief cuts in there, because when this goes in the water, this is going to expand. So even though this is like near enough the bang on the size of that, this is probably going to expand by that much. There we go, little relief cuts all around. Prep up all these bits because, like I said, I might be dipping them 2-3 times each piece, so I just want them all ready and ready to rumble. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to dip the yellow one. We've got a bit of film ready. Tank is on, so what we'll do is turn that off, set up our dams. These are dams because obviously the film's going to expand, so you don't want it to expand too much. So that should probably be about right. Obviously this is just a test. Like that. Turn the timer on. Get that running. And then you have a good gap around the whole film ready. Get my mask. Turn on the fan. Need that to go to a minute. See how that's just expanded. Right, so I'll show you the importance of the different colours. So, this is one dip on the white. Yeah, I know it doesn't look like the sample. This is where the artistry comes into it. I mean, I'm hoping dipping it multiple times will darken it up. If not, it'll be the airbrush. But anyway, this is on the white. This is on the yellow. Don't watch that, I dropped it on the floor. But yellow, white. See the difference in them? It's a good job because that to that, yeah, it's got them pale elements in it, so it still could be a possibility, but at the moment I would say this one's starting to look a lot closer, but we will see. We're going to dip them again, do a second dip, see what happens. We're experimenting, you know. Done the second dips. This is the white, this is the yellow. Interestingly enough, with 2 dips on it, it's not really making a difference now. So it doesn't really make a difference on the base colour. It's sort of getting there, I think what I'm going to need to do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip one of them 3 times, because they look the same now. I'll dip one 3 times, keep the other one at 2, and then I might airbrush like this sort of colour, dust it over the top just to tone it down a bit. But I mean, you can only do what you can do, do you know what I mean? There's only, So, we have done our test dips. What do they look like? This is the yellow with 2 dips. This is the white with 3 dips. This is what we're trying to replicate. I mean, what I'm going to do is, I've got like a sort of a transparent-y, sort of browny colour that's like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle that on top. It's not going to be exact, but we can get as close as we can get. I mean, the pattern is bang on, near enough. It's just the colour. Worst comes to worst, you can just stain this, can't you? Right, airbrush on, samples there. This is the colour that I was on about. I know it looks really light, but we need that to try and lighten these up. I'm thinking at the moment this is probably the closest colour. I'll give that a go. Very, very transparent. We don't want something that's not transparent, because then it'll just get rid of the whole print, and then it is what it is. But we'll see, we'll see. So I've put that colour on, and to me, it's made it, I mean, that's the original. It's made a slight difference, but it is not that. It is not that. So I've come up with a plan. Made up like this grey, because I'm thinking, no, it's slightly lighter, but I'm thinking with a nice soft coat over it, it might do something. We're trying it. That's one coat. It's already lightened it up a bit. So maybe 2 coats is the winning solution. I mean, to be fair though, that is not a million miles away. So at the moment, as it stands, it's 2 dips on the yellow colour and 1 coat of this grey that I've made. But let me do 1 more coat and we'll see. Tell you what, right, shut this up. I'm actually pretty happy with that. I think that's the closest that we're going to get. If I put any more on it, it's going to take away the pattern. But that's what we've got. That is the wooden handle. So I mean, it's not a million miles, is it really? I'm quite happy with that. But I'll show you the difference. This is why you've just got to trust the process, mate, and just go along with everything. So what we've got is the original 2 dips. Then we've got like 3 coats of yellow, 2 coats of the grey. Then we have got just 2 coats of the grey. So just for reference, so I don't forget, it's dip on the pale yellow twice, and then it's 2 coats of the grey colour over the top. You remember that, because I won't. I've put a adhesion promoter on there, and then what I like to do is just put a dust, like a gripper coat on there. You don't want to go on too thick, because then you can risk adhesion problems. So they're in there, gripper coat, let that flash off for a couple of minutes, and then I'll start whacking on the colour. She's done. All prepped up, all prepped, all painted, all ready for the dipping process tomorrow. So trust the process, see what happens tomorrow. Godspeed. Right, what I'm doing at the moment is, so obviously that's what I'm dipping. I put it on this stick so then it's easier to dip, but now I'm like taping up the end and putting a hole, so I can hang them up. Because once they're dipped, I need them to hang so that they can drip dry. Because obviously I need drip dry. Because obviously I need them to be dry as possible, bro. All set up. Let me show you what actually you need for Hydrodipping. Obviously you've got your tank. You have got these to make your barriers. Because like I said, you put the film in, it expands. Your spray gun, activator, extraction. That is what you need. You need your tank at a certain temperature. You need to let the film go on the water for a certain amount of time to soften up. Each film is different. Little reminders up there. But yeah, so basically we're ready. What I'm going to start doing is cutting up the film. I've got all of that hanging up there, them 2 down there, them down there, and that up there. I've got all this crap in because obviously we were shutting down. We were shutting down the dipping tank. Half the plumbing's been removed already. So after this, it's gone. I'm going to dip the small round things that are on the white thingamajigs first. I always like to do the smallest ones first, just to get in the zone. We'll get our piece,
whack it on there, get our film. You want to put this film on so it doesn't leave any bubbles. See, there's a bubble right there. See that one there? Literally just blow it out. Blow it out. Then what I like to do is get the piece, just tack it off, make sure there's no dust on it. The timer is going. Get my mask. And then you want to dip it in a way that it'll do it all. Just like that. All 4 handle knobby things have been dipped. But what is the problems that you can have with dipping? There's so many people don't even know about it. So number 1, each film is different, so you'll have dipping times with them. Look, like some of them, less activator, 1 pass, dust dip, 1 dust plus 1. To know how much activator to put on each film, because it's always different. You put too much activator on, you've got a problem. You put too less activator on, you've got a problem. If you're rinsing it off, the film's just going to completely come off. If you trap air, you get holes in it. Oh, mate, that's wrong. Obviously, like you've seen, you've got to play about. Stop swearing. You've got to play about with colours to try and achieve the right thing. Then you have to know how to airbrush, because afterwards, mostly you've got to airbrush them. Mate, there's not only that. You saw we painted them, yeah. You have a time limit. If the paint's not at the right hardness, then it's not going to work. There's so many like. This is why it can be a ball ache, and this is why it costs money, but no one wants to pay the money. And I almost forgot the absolute main thing. You need to know how to dip. Like, for instance, you need to put this at an angle so it's not going to trap air. But on this piece, obviously, if I'm dipping it, well, I need to dip it like that, but I need to get the film on the back of that as well. So I've had to dip it like this, but almost pull it back and then pull it forward. Hence why there's a little bit there. But this is what the airbrushing is about, bro. So a bit like this next one that I'm about to dip, I am doubtful that it's all going to come out, because I believe that it's going to trap air. I've said this to the customer. You always got to cover your back. Ow. Anyway, like these bits, these little caliper looking things. So in these grooves here, I'm very doubtful that it's actually going to come out. As well as around this writing, it's just going to trap air. But I have expressed my concerns. Got to always cover your back. See what happens. We'll see. I've been doing this like what, 10 years, something like that. So it's sad. It's sad. But there's no point doing something if no one's going to pay you for your time, you know? Time is money. I was wrong! In here is basically washing off the PVA. Once you've dipped it, it leaves like a sticky residue, and you want to get it all off. But look, you can see there it didn't quite come out, but I'm happy with that. Right, what are we doing now? So we've dipped all of our bits. This is like one of the wooden knobs. But what we are doing is, if there's any little tiny little like there's one, I don't know if you see that little bit right there, tiny little dots or anything that ain't coming out, and we're airbrushing them. Okay, and this is what we are doing. Dark sort of shade. So I made up this dark there. So there was like a little bit here that didn't. There was like a little dot. So I've just airbrushed that in a bit of dark. So basically, so it's all covered. And then once I've got all the bits done and happy with them, then I will put my like grey on, if you remember the grey, just to like dull it down a bit. And then yeah, she'll put a matte lacquer on her, then hopefully look something like this. She won't be exactly like this because she's slightly different shade of brown. I mean, hold on. You see that it's slightly different. I've got them set up in the oven. I'm going to put on this grey colour that we mixed up. Grey colour that we mixed up, and then we shall lacquer them. Right, what we've got here is a clear matte lacquer. I mean, I know it sort of looks a bit suspicious. That's a clear matte lacquer. I've done the grey, so I am going to whack this on. And done, mate. Right, the little gun that I was going to use has decided not to work, so I'm going to go with the big gun. Didn't want to use a big gun, but I've got to use the big gun. Ah! There we go, that's the original piece, and there are all the others. And that is how you hide your dip wood. Trust the process, love you, and good.